Who is ready to dive into some Canva? We are going to do some Canva basics, and this is brought to you by Brittany, who brought this question up and wanted a quick tutorial. So thank you, Brittany, for sharing the question. I am happy to do that, and let's dive in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and just jump in and get started because that's how we work around here, right? Okay, so let's see here. I want to make sure that I've got everything I need. All right, let's do it this way. And okay. All right, so here we are. We are going to take a little quick peek here and jump into Canva. Now, one of the main questions that was asked was how to create the newsletters, create all of those things. And I really want you guys to be able to feel like you can do this because you can do this, right? You can do this. And it's super easy. You just have to play with it. But trust me, once you get it, you're never going to want to do it any other way. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share with you real quick just a picture of what I ended up with for my customer newsletter. This is what kind of sparked the question, and I want to show you guys kind of how we put this together. So we're going to build one from scratch. We're going to do this pretty quick and simple, but of course, as you will see, and as you start to play with Canva, you're going to see that there are so many ways that you can just go down this rabbit hole, okay? So in this newsletter, for example, this is what I've done. I've added in some pictures, added in some graphics, but let's talk and let's really show like how do we get to this point? How do we get all of these elements in there? So we're just going to go to the home. I am going to preface this and say I do use the Canva Pro version, okay? But there is absolutely no reason that if you just have the Canva free account that you cannot do this plus everything else that you want to do, okay? Canva is very, very special in that respect, that they don't gatekeep a lot when it comes to the free version versus the pro or the paid version. For me personally, there's just some features that I really, really love within the paid version, which is why I decided that that was one of the things that I was going to keep as a subscription every month because I wanted it for my business, right? So when you get to that point, and I talked about this in my last video as well, over the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, I've really been scaling back my business, going back to basics, right? Kind of bringing everything back home and looking at my business to see what do I need, what do I not need, what's working for me, what's not working for me. So that is really what we're talking about today and going forward. So if you're interested in those things, make sure that you subscribe and follow along for new weekly videos. All right, so how did we create this little magnetic newsletter? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to start a design. Now you can click on create a design, you can go to there. I've got some of my favorites saved up here, so I'm just going to do a flyer. That's what I'm starting with. Okay, depending on the project that you're working on is going to really dictate which and where you want to start. Now, if you are like my friend Texas, she will always tell you, I am a duplicator. I don't like to create from scratch. So starting from this blank slate might give you a little bit of anxiety. And if it does, don't worry about it. You're covered because Canva already has some really great templates that you can get started with. So depending on what you're looking to do, right, it's already giving me some suggestions of templates, but if you really want to dig in and get very specific, so let's say I want to do Halloween flyer. And we're calling it a flyer, but this is really a newsletter for us, right? So you'll see right here, like, and you can see that from there as well. This is one of the graphics that I actually used, but it's got all of these different examples. Now, here's the one thing you want to look for, depending on if you use the free version or if you use the paid version. So when you see the little golden crown there, okay, that's going to mean that that is part of the paid Canva. The ones that do not have that, you can just use that, and everything that is there will be usable for you. The only real differences here are maybe some of these graphics, some of these photos and pictures and things like that are part of the pro version or the paid version. But again, you still have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of choices when it comes to implementing graphics. So don't let that hold you back. But for this, I want to have a little bit of fun. I want this newsletter to kind of highlight what's really going on right now in my business. Ooh, I love the ghost. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go for the ghost because I'm in my little ghosty era. So this is the one I'm going to go ahead and start with. We're going to have fun and we are going to customize this. All right, so obviously a lot of this, right, I don't want. That's not what I'm going for. Down here, you'll see the toolbar where I can zoom in and out. When I am really creating a graphic, or in this case, a newsletter, right, I am zooming in. So you can really get as close or as far away as you really want to. It just depends on, you know, what is your preference. Now, the first thing that I am going to do, and I find this very helpful for me because sometimes I might start a project and need to come back to it later, and I want to remember what the heck I was doing. So I'm going to say this is my mid-September email. Let's say that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and name this so that way I'm saving it and it will be there. Now, another really good point that I'm going to touch on very briefly as we're talking about maybe saving and going back to something is the fact that with Canva, depending on, like right now, I am on my Mac, right? I'm on my computer. But let's say I stop this and later on I want to go and I want to sit down and I am wanting to do it from my phone. I want to do it from my mobile. So I can actually go to my Canva, pull up my mobile app, and boom, I will be able to go right to this design, pull it up, and work seamlessly. So it will work across all the different platforms and all the different devices that you're using. So if you're somebody who's on the go a lot, like me, sometimes I'm in my office, sometimes I'm on the MacBook just in my living room or at the library or at the coffee shop, or sometimes I'm at work and I just have my phone, right? So it really depends, but that is one of the very best features I love, is that it's seamless across all your devices. So I did want to touch on that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take this out. So as you can see, I'm clicking on things and now I have a little menu that pops up. All right, so I can create a comment. I can duplicate this if I wanted to. I can trash it or delete it. If I click on the more, I can do a lot more here. Like I said, this is a very basic tutorial that I'm going into today. So feel free to, by all means, get in here and start really dissecting and diving in to see what you can actually do in this. Now, a couple of these things, like I don't really like the roller skate. I really like this for the ghosty, but I don't really want a lot of these elements. So I'm taking those out. Let me take out the sunglasses as well. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to leave that. Now, this background is more grayish, right? Now, I want to actually make it white because I just want to. Actually, ooh, that's more of a cream. Kind of liking that. No, I like the white. I like the white. I like the cleanliness of it. Okay, so that's what we're gonna go. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm just gonna click and drag. You can see I can move all of these guys, okay? So all of these elements that were already here, I'm just literally moving them around, doing what I want with them, okay? I want to come in here though. I'm going to go ahead and keep this lettering, but let's change it up and say what I'm loving. And let's make that smaller. So I'm going to come back and you can see how it is kind of, they've got it in the curved format. And if you come up here, you can do that. If you go to effects, that's where we can kind of do the shapes. We can do curving up, we can do curving down. It depends on what we want to do. We can keep it straight. I'm kind of loving the, oh, and I like the outline too. Okay, I'm doing that so you can see what I'm doing here. And I can change the outline of that, and let's go ahead and let's give it That makes it stand out a little bit more. What do you think about that? I kind of like that. Okay. All right, so that's what I'm going to go with. I'm just going to move that up to the top. Now my ghost, I'm gonna go ahead and shrink her down here because I just want to kind of get her out of the way for a hot second. I don't want to delete her because I'm going to be using her. Now all of this wording, I don't need any of that, and I can also add my text later. So I'm just going to get rid of it just for the sake of right now I am truly designing, right? All right, so first and foremost, when I'm wanting to do some things, right? You want to make sure once you upload to Canva, and you can upload anything from your camera roll into Canva, so you're able to use it as images. So what I like to do is I like to go through, find pictures that either I've taken or that others have shared amongst the multiple thousands of Facebook groups out there within the Scentsy world. So if you're not in any of those groups, go ahead and get into those groups. If your team doesn't have a team Facebook page or anything like that, and you're looking for pictures, then I would highly recommend just getting on Facebook and searching for these groups. And then that way you've got access to pictures. A lot of us are not buying every single product, right? But we still want to be able to showcase products. My order from the 1st of September still hasn't arrived, so I can't take my own pictures right now, but I'm so thankful that in our Scentsy community, others are taking pictures and sharing them. So that's what I've done here. So I've gone through and I've just updated or uploaded some pictures that I found that I really like the style and I wanted to be able to showcase in this particular design. But again, it will keep all of those pictures for you. Now, one of the things I get asked a lot is, how do I make the picture look all cute, right? Like we did for a lot of what we were looking at in my original newsletter. So if you want to kind of go out of the box and instead of just using a square or rectangle, whatever picture, you can come into Canva and I'm just going to search photo frames. Now, when I do that, I'm going to go to frames. I'm going to go to see all, and you'll see there's a lot, oops. Okay, let's get back. Okay, there's lots of different designs here, right? So you can see like this one's kind of splashed out. This one's a little wobbly wibbly. I kind of like that one. I use that one in one of my others. So I'm going to bring that one in. Here we go. Now, when you've got this, whenever you see this, where it's like this blue sky and green ground, that means that you can import a picture or a graphic into that frame. Okay, so it's going to take on the shape of what is there. So I'm going to go back to my uploads and I'm going to pick one of my pictures and I'm going to pick this haunted house. So I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag and you're going to see, look how that snaps right into my frame. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. Okay. I love how that looks. I like the fact that it's a little weebly wobbly, and it just gives the picture just a little something different, right? So this is just a little different. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make my ghost a little bit smaller. I don't want it in there, but I'm just going to pull it next to it. There we go. Now, let's say I want the ghost to go over my frame. Here's one of my tips. We want to actually just change the layer on this. And so the layer is going to decide, do you want this on top, behind, depending on what you're doing in your creation. So I'm going to say I want to bring this to the front because look at that. I can lay it kind of right over that picture. So you see now it's laying over it. Before it was behind the picture. Now it's in front of the picture. So again, we're just creating some depth and we're having some fun with this is what we're doing. So there's that. I want to go ahead and I want to tell them what that is, right? I want them to know what they're looking at. Now I personally, I've got my little harvest brochure here because these are the items that I am using. And so let's go ahead, let's move this down because I want to go ahead and get my verbiage in there because this is the brand new, in case you didn't know, this is the brand new diffuser from Scentsy. Yes, it's a diffuser and I'm so excited about this because it's been quite some time that we've had a new diffuser for the holidays, and especially one that looks like this, where it's this complete 3D and it looks like a warmer, but it's not, it's a diffuser. You can buy the shade separately, or you can just buy it with as a diffuser with the base. I already have a base, so that makes it really easy for me. I can just buy the shades and then I can just change those in and out. Now this one is called the Mystifying Moonlight Premium Diffuser. Again, we can do a shade or a base, but now what I want to do is bring in some text. So I'm going to bring in my text and I'm going to look, let's see here. What do I want to use? I kind of like that font. It might be a little hard to read though, so let's see. Let's use this though. This looks nice. Okay. I'm going to bring this in. So here's my font. And I'm going to ungroup this. So what that means is I'm now separating these two things. So you see I've got new and then I've got item, but I'm separating those. So now I can actually customize them. And I'm going to put the name in here. Mystifying Moonlight. Don't worry, I know it's big, but we're going to change that. Premium Diffuser. All right, so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to bring it down. I don't need it. Oh, actually, I like that. There we go. All right, so I like that. Now I want to change the color of it. See how we can get, really, honestly, we can just get as good as we want. I'm going to change all of that when it comes to the colors and everything else. I still want it to say new, and I like the fact that it says that there. So I'm going to leave that, but I'm going to make it bigger because I want it to kind of line up. And if I take this arrow button, now I can kind of move that where I want. There we go. Now I want to go ahead and I want to give them a little bit of details about this. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm just going to add a text box. And I'm going to put in that this is the newest diffuser. I'm going to say oil diffuser. Oil diffuser. Comes separately with just the shade or with the diffuser base. And I misspelled separately. That's okay. Thank you for autocorrect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring that over. And you'll see, I mean, I don't need it to be super, super large, but there we go. I am going to change the spacing of the lines because I want it to be a little bit closer. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to do that. So I bring it together a little bit more. Look at that. Okay, so we're already off to a really great start. I'm loving the, I cannot wait to get mine, but okay. There's that. All right, let's move some of our little decor around. I personally, now this is a me thing, maybe not a you thing, but I personally, I don't like to include prices on here because then it looks very salesy to me. And I'm not here to look salesy. I'm here to just capture attention. I want them to know what I'm loving. I want to highlight some particular items. So that's why I personally don't include prices in this. Of course, at the bottom, which you're going to see, because we're going to include that, I am going to put my picture, I'm going to put my contact information. So then that way they know exactly where they're going, right, with this. So there is that. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to leave our disco ball here, though, because I love the disco ball. But I am going to go ahead and keep it off to the side, just like that. You can see it just is kind of running off the page now. I am going to keep the one here on the bottom, but I am going to make it smaller. You see, I'm just really playing around, right? I'm just playing around with some different placement and things like that. Now let's go ahead and let's go to our next next picture. So I want to go ahead, I'm going to bring in this frame. Oh, let's move our wording down there because I still might use that. So that's why I'm keeping it there. And make this a little bit smaller. I don't need it as huge. Move it off to the side. So let's bring in our next picture. So then I'm going to go back to uploads and I want to actually focus on the Mickey. I just love this. And I just kind of click and drag it until it just kind of, there we go, snaps right in. And again, see how I didn't really have to do anything there. Using the frames option is really going to change this up for you. So instead of just square pictures, square pictures, square pictures, you're really customizing this, right? All right, so we've got our Mickey, and I want to go ahead and again, I'm pulling out my flyer here because I need that. So I have all of my info. Okay. So this, for those of you who aren't aware, this is the Scentsy Buddy. I know it doesn't necessarily look like a buddy, but it is the Disney Mickey pumpkin head. And if you guys know about Disney and how they really dress up the parks, then this is not going to be anything new to you. Now, here's the thing. I want all of this to be cohesive, right? So I've already picked out the font that I did for the first one. I'm going to show you my trick of how to just kind of keep it consistent so I don't have to keep back and searching. And which one did I use again? I can't remember. Here's how to make sure that you're getting it. So I've highlighted that, and now I'm going to click duplicate. You see it just duplicated it. So I'm just going to click and drag it down. I want to bring this over. All right. And so now we're going to change this to say Disney, Disney, Mickey Mouse, Jack O, Lantern, Scentsy Buddy. Now let's pull that out. Now I can just kind of move this around. Let's make this just a little bit smaller so it fits underneath there. And let's go ahead and let's do the same. I want to bring down my new. So I'm going to bring that down. I want them to know this is new. And there we go. So now I've got that. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in so we can see it a little bit better, okay? But again, I'm just going to come here. I'm going to copy this because again, I'm keeping it cohesive, right? So I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to move these little elements out of the way because now they're in my way. Let's put those over there, guys. You just sit over there for a hot second. All right, and I'm going to say Disney lovers know this face. They sure do. Comes with a Disney frightfully delightful scent pack. All right, so there we go. Now I've got my description in there. Again, if you want to add prices in, add your prices in. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, you know why I'm not doing, that's not a K, that's an H. Mickey. Always double look. Okay. So there we go. So there's that one. Now I'm just going to do one more because I just want to show you just a little bit more how we're doing this. Let's go ahead and move this guy over here. Let's just get him out of the way for a minute. And you can see I'm just moving my elements back around and in, just kind of having some fun, right? We're just doing little pops. All right, so the other thing that I'm absolutely loving is the Beetlejuice warmer. We've got that, but what else do I want to put in here? I'm trying to see what's something that I could feature. Let's go ahead and let's do the hand soaps. My customers really enjoy the hand soaps. And I think they're a really great thing because, you know, it's cold and flu season, let's be honest. We've got a lot of that going around. So let's go ahead and bring that in. Let's have a little bit more fun though with this frame. Let's see if we can make it just a little bit more different. And there's another Weeble Wobbly one. Let's see what that looks like when we bring that in. All right, so again, I don't need it as big. I'm just gonna bring that in, put that there. I'm gonna go back to my uploads. Where's my hand soap that I wanted? There we go. Bring it over until we just kind of, there it goes, snaps into place. Oh, look at, see, that came out perfect where it's really just highlighting that. I like that. Okay. So now we've got that. Let me go to my descriptions. All right, so this is the Harvest Hand Soap 3-pack. So it is sold as a 3-pack. So let's do this. We're gonna copy again. I'll bring it here for a minute and we're gonna say Harvest Hand Soap 3-pack. There we go. Bring that down. Again, I'm just going to copy my new. And this one, we don't need it as big because that's just a little bit smaller. So I'm just adjusting that. And again, I'm going to copy this over. We're going to throw in our description over here. All right, so includes 3 fragrances. Fall into love. Give me candy. And white, pumpkin, and driftwood. All right, now you see I want to just get in closer so I make sure I've got all of that in there and it looks right. I do like the way that it looks. So let's bring that up here. Here we go. All right, so we've got all of those. Let's go back out. Let's see how we're looking. We're looking good, right? This is looking attractive and looking like a great marketing material, okay? Now I want to go ahead, let's move the disco ball. Let's actually make the disco ball smaller. That way we can just get the whole thing in there. And this is going to say Harvest Collection Faves. Again, I'm going to change the spacing in that because I just want it a little bit tighter. Okay. Oops. Click out, click it over. All right. Let's go to our effects. And let's give this a little bit of an effect here. I'm going to splice that out. I'm going to change my colors. Let's do, okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's do it in pink so it stands out a little bit more. All right, so there we go. Now I want to add my branding in there, right? So I want myself, I want my picture in there. So let's go back to my uploads. And here's my, I'm just going to use this picture for now. I'm going to throw that in there. I want to remove the background on this. And you can see that is a pro feature, but if you don't have the pro, that's okay. You just make it a little bit smaller. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring this in. And there I am. And now I want to add in my name. Come down here. Let's get in a little bit closer so we can see what we're doing. All right, I'm gonna say, oops. Make that bigger. I'm just gonna keep that font because that is perfectly fine. I'm gonna add in another line. I'm gonna do my website. Make that a little bit bigger. You can see it's helping me line everything up, which is what I want. Okay. Beautiful. All right, so we've got that. There's everything that we really want. Let's go ahead and add just another little graphic in here. So now I'm going to go to Elements. I'm going to remove Photo Frame, and I'm going to go to Ghost Cute, because that's my little cutie ghosts. Okay, yes, they're just adorable. I'm loving them right now. Let's do the guy with the little headphones. He's super cute. Oops. No. Okay, now that's a perfect example. Okay, that did something I didn't want it to do. It snapped into my frame. Didn't want that. So if I come up here to the undo button, this will take me back. Okay, so everything's fixable. Let me zoom out so I can see where I'm putting this guy a little bit better. Okay, I want him, or I need him to be a little bit smaller. Come back over here, little ghosty. Okay. Maybe just a touch. There we go. All right. So there we go. We've now designed this really great, cute flyer. Now, if you're not wanting to use this in your email, see the last video for how I do that. But if you want to use this to print this out, mail it out, you can do that. You can email this, you can post this on social media. This is everything that you need, okay? Everything that you need is right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click share. And then I'm going to, oops, I zoomed in. I apologize. I'm going to go to download. I'm going to keep it as a PNG because I want it as a picture, because this is going into my email. So on the email, I need it in a picture format. So it's telling me that, and I always just save it as a transparent background. It just helps the graphics pop a little bit better. I'm going to click download, and this is actually downloading directly to my device. So now, again, you could go back to the last video, but now I've downloaded this as a picture. So now I can go into my emails, I can upload this, and it's going to fit in perfectly. This was something that I am so glad that I was able to come on and share with you guys kind of how to do that. Like I said, there are so many ways that you can dive into this, have fun with this, and really get creative, put your own branding, put your own spin on it, upload your own fonts. I mean, you can get as detailed as you want when it comes to Canva. Now, these are just some of my favorite tips when I'm utilizing Canva and how I create in Canva. But I hope this was helpful to you guys. Give me a shout down below what you would like to see next, and I will be more than happy to share that with you. Bye.